Well, this is very, very interesting and even a little bit dramatic, as Iran would like actually to declare that without a deal, a completed deal, all American forces in the Middle East are at risk, are vulnerable. And this is kind of a message to the Americans that without a deal, things can turn ugly actually when it comes to their presence in the region, at least when it comes to this huge compound of Americans in Erbil. Second, that could be definitely something that maybe should be tied up to recent activities of Israel in Syria. And this is one way to say that as long as Israel actually is going on with its attacks on Iranian interests in Syria and beyond, in return, Iran actually could deal with, negatively of course, with American forces. Now we have to bear in mind that what happened in Erbil today is meeting actually let's say the 2 years anniversary of Qasem Soleimani. And this is kind of a message which I would take even further and say that this is definitely a new Iranian modus operandi. Now, when they are sure that they are getting closer to a deal, which is going actually to repair their economy and national strength, with United States out of the region, Iranians are much more confident, and they are going actually to come up one step further with what I would depict as their informal imperialism. This is what we're going to get. And I hope that here and there would be kind of a change, at least when it comes to American policy in this region, because there are many, many American allies here who are very anxious about Iranian behavior and deeds against the background of what we do see in the Middle East.
Now, on these alleged Israeli targets involved here, and you mentioned some of this, Israel's efforts to push back on Iranian encroachment in Syria, according to many reports here now. Also in Iraq, is that a likely arena where Israel's pushing against Iran?
Well, I mean, we do talk about the whole corridor stretch from the Persian Gulf or Arabian Gulf to the Mediterranean as kind of a corridor where Iran is increasing its influence in. And basically, it could be Lebanon, it could be Syria, but definitely Iraq too. And look at what's going on in Iraq. It is not only sort of a breakup. The whole northern Iraq territory, which is populated by Kurds, is being taken captive to a Turkish-Iranian rivalry. And what Iran is trying to do while attacking Erbil is also actually to bolster its infiltration and penetration to northern Iraq. This is kind of a sign of the times, because these regional powers, especially Iran, do fight for, in accordance with their bid for hegemony. And I would say that what we had seen in Erbil this morning or yesterday is kind of a reminder of what the Middle East could become to, or if the Americans and others are out of the region. By the way, this is something that, as I said before, is very, very kind of a great concern for many. And this is why the Abraham Accords stands actually against this background as kind of a realignment of forces, pro-American forces, pro-Western forces, states in the region who would like actually to act together in order to check the Iranian bid for hegemony. This is a new ball game. And what we got this morning is kind of a reminder, as I said before, of what the Middle East could become.
Now, along those lines, and the bigger picture of countering Iran, the Vienna talks now, are they dead in the water after these new Russian demands to tie basically the war in Ukraine and sanctions there to the issue around the Iranian nuclear program? Or do you think there's going to be a workaround here by the U.S. and others?
I think that the Russians are trying actually to use that as a bargaining chip for getting kind of a listening ear to what they would like to have in Ukraine. But basically, I think it's just maneuvers and tactics. The deal, in my opinion, is close to completion. Iran is going actually to prove that all these economic sanctions that were inflicted on her for years came to nothing. The regime is still there. And let's say the march for nuclear capacity is alive and kicking. So I think that we can talk about that as a done deal. It would take maybe a week or two, maybe more than that. But I think that things are going actually to materialize positively in Iranian eyes. And what remains to be seen is what could be the ramifications for the Middle East. As I said before, there is kind of a huge concern among many in the Middle East while viewing actually the what happening, regarding the nuclear deal.
Professor Rabi, as always, thanks for being with us on this topic. We continue to follow closely.
Thank you.